Hi and welcome back to another video of JPlay. I am Marcus and today I'm covering The Adventurer, basically the spiritual successor to the Drifter, designed by Ken Kennedy, who also kindly provided me the review copy, so basically the free files for this adventure. Also did cover the other two games on the channel. So today again it's all about The Adventurer, and if you don't know the series, it's I think loosely based on these choose your own kind of adventure. I think the Barbarian Prince was one of those first ones, which you I think can still get for free basically and play it. And maybe that's something I should cover too. But yeah, today we are playing The Adventurer here. I already did some setup for this game, mainly determining our character. I typically don't play with wizards, which was the main reason why I decided to play as a wizard. And for the folks who watched my playthrough of Explore It, you might recognize this miniature here, which I will be using going forward. So we have the Dorax, the wizard, our motivation, which really doesn't have any sort of real impact to the game, on the game mechanics per se. But for me, it's wisdom, and this will kind of drive me when it comes down to making decisions. Again, I think it helps you to identify who your character is, what they want to achieve. Ultimately, the goal of this game is to reach 500 gold pieces, and maybe we want to use those gold pieces to build ourselves our mage tower or things like that. Unfortunately, we only start with a staff. We have to roll for our aura shield. We also have to roll for our intellect. There is a rule which allows you to say, let's start on 4, but let's simply, it's really a dice chucker here. So we will also roll these things randomly. We haven't encountered or gathered any items. We haven't found any points of interest. We will start on level 1 here. We don't have, I think, 0 experience points, and for every 15 experience points you're gaining, you get a level up, so you can increase your character or basically develop your character. And depending on who you are, I think the game comes with 5 or 6 different characters, so the system is really replayable nearly endlessly. Yes, you will stumble upon the same event every now and then, but depending on how things turn out for you, every game will be different. And by introducing more character, basically classes, again, this will simply multiply the already sheer amount of replayability that this game offers. As for the gold, I believe we are also rolling for any starting goals and or items. And last but not least, we will also roll where we are starting our adventure here. I will definitely zoom in a little bit later when it's really required. It's really a nice looking map, so this is definitely a major step forward from all of the other installments of the series. I like this map really a lot, and there's really very nice artwork in the rulebook. Very old school RPG kind of artwork. Really, I like that one a lot, so hopefully I'm able to share some of those. I very poorly put these together. I printed them out on 2 DIN A4 papers. We're here in Europe, Germany after all, so no letter format here, so I basically glued these together to make it a little bit bigger, because when printing this out on 1 sheet of paper, it was really, at least for my old eyes, a tad too small. But again, we will zoom down, so for now you may not be able to see all the coordinates that are printed here in these respective hexes. So I think without further ado, let's do our first die rolls of the game. So first of all, we will determine our intellect here. So we are rolling a d4, and a 3 is an okay start actually. I absolutely take it. The hero points, it's basically a reroll. You can spend them also for other things throughout the adventure, but typically a reroll. That's really a great start. And I think for the aura shield, we also have to roll a 4-sided die. And yeah, let's also take the 3. It was kind of cocked, but I believe a 3 also means we are starting on the lowest level here, which in this case is a good thing, obviously, because this determines how difficult your adventures are. So this basically tells the game how well known you are, and basically putting more stuff to it. So if you're ever on this level here, which might ultimately happen, more bad stuff will simply happen to us. Awesome. And then last but not least, we are rolling on the treasure table, and we are looking unfortunately also for the weakest column here. So we are rolling a 20-sided die, and I'm using these awesome metal die, and I really hope you can see that. Tell me if it's difficult to understand and I will change the die. But I like those. That's a 12. Yeah, which means we are starting the game with 2 gold points. Again, we need 500. As soon as we have 500, we have automatically won the game. There is also some kind of a campaign mode, and I think there is another goal. But we are playing the standard game, which is more or less the same as with the Drifter as well. But yeah, ultimately we are starting the game with 2 gold pieces here. Obviously, the game doesn't come with metal coins. You are supposed to use, basically this character sheet here. But at least for stuff like money, let's use the coins that I do have. There will be a printed version of this book available sooner or later. Right now, I believe there is only the printed play, which you can get through typically Drive-Thru RPG, where I get my copy from. Again, it's a free review copy. Thanks so much. And yeah, that's basically our starting situation. Not too bad. Yeah, I think I take it. So I believe we can actually start into our adventure by reading the very first event, which is always event 001. And I didn't print the event book, only the rules and some of the other components here, but you're of course free to print those. It's a little bit tougher for me to record. So with this, I have hyperlink and all sorts of stuff. So that's what I will be using my trusted tablet here. Maybe I will whatever zoom in or whatever take extracts from the rulebook directly during editing. Let's see. You are a fledgling adventurer. Now far from home, you have set out into the fabled land in hopes of accumulating enough wealth in order to fulfill your quest, which is, I think, our mage tower. The terrain of this mysterious realm is covered in dense forests and arid deserts, hazy marshes and rolling grasslands. Throughout, there are walks of life, from docile critters, predatory animals, peasants, patricians and ravenous creatures. There are tales of perilous dungeons, secret tombs and ancient rooms inhabited by mythological beasts and menacing magic that guard legendary riches. Armed with your wits and weapon of choice, you are ready to explore the highest mountains to the deepest valleys to achieve your goal. Now consult the entire section under art. So let's not read that, we already have done that. You awake in the wilderness. Roll a d10 to determine which hex you start up at on the map. I will do that right now. And we are placing a token on that hex. This is our token here. You gather your supplies and set out to seek your destiny in this mystical land. Choose an available action, which will most likely be moving. I think 98% of the times we are moving. But let's see where we will start our little journey. We roll a d10, right? Yeah, that's the one. And that's a 6, which will lead us to 1710, which is basically here where these 3 woods are. We do have cities on the board, 8-4, 3-18 and 16-40. So 16-14 shouldn't be too far off, exactly down here. Maybe this should be our very first target actually. So let's do that. Again, we typically only have 1 action at our disposal, and this is to move. Again, if we are in a city, if we are at a point of interest, sometimes some of your items might have certain actions. Even some of the characters, I believe, do have actions on there, basically as their, I don't know, class abilities. Let's put it like this. Our class ability is an amazing one. We can basically defeat human creatures relatively easily, or human opponents relatively easily. But I think in this case, let's simply move down here to 1711. Again, our goal is this city down here. I don't know which name this city is. Maybe that's already part of, let's say, your personal narrative. You can name all those cities and whatnot. But yeah, we have moved. So now we have to roll for an event. As you can see, we have a whole lot of events to go through here. And the column, basically this one here, the aura shield, tells us again how dangerous the things will be. Because right now our aura shield is down here. We are rolling against this column here. We see the aura shield over here. We are rolling a D100 in this case. So luckily I do have all those dice covered. So let's sort it out. And here I really don't know if higher results are better than lower results. results or if it's completely random. I have zero clue actually. And this seems to be, was it 81? And 81 says we have to read event 252. Let's do that. And apparently we came upon a shrine. We are rolling a d6. And that's basically what this game is. You're thrown into an event and you roll some dice. Sometimes it depends on how strong you are, how high your intellect is. But in a lot of scenarios, you're simply rolling a die and see what happens to you. But that's kind of the appeal of this series, of this game. And for a d6, we are always rolling our trusted JPlay die. My logo is the 1. So let's see what comes out of this. And of course, we are rolling a 1 with our very first roll here. It is a dedication to a dark god and is stained in blood. If your aura shield is high, no, it's not. If your aura shield is not, and we are rolling a d6. If you roll a 1 to 2, we are going to result. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So we can basically ignore the first one here, which is good. So we are not really in a dark aura, so we would have lost a hero point. And again, hero points are great for us. But now we do hope for a low result here, and it's a 2. Okay, maybe not. I haven't really read ahead, but we rolled a 2, which means we are now reading event table 7, which we would typically not hit other than maybe through this first die result here. So things are already interesting. There is a tribute. You can take the tribute from the shrine or leave. If you leave, okay, aura shield down 1. What does down 1 mean actually? I think it's getting lower, right? I think that's the case. Or we can take the tribute, roll a d4. Upon touching the tribute, you turn to ash. Your adventure ends here. Yeah, I think up 1. I think that's what it is. Oh gosh, this is so bad. The thing is, I am now driven by wisdom. So I want to find out what's in here. But again, this adventure could end here right now. And if it does end, I will simply use whatever I have and will reboot. I will not go through a different adventure or whatever. I will take all the results because it's the very first event of the game. Ridiculous. So let's roll the die. And again, we are not hoping. Okay, a 3 I think might be okay. Aura shield down. We are getting 1 gold point. I mean, that's the name of the game here. Cool. So we are already quote unquote on 3 and we are reading event 002. Wow. And apparently we have, let's call it, found a boon. We are rolling another die. Roll a d10. I think nothing bad could happen here, right? No. That is really not a bad start. I think, oh gosh, a 1. Are you kidding me? It's a 1. And I really hope you can see those die results here. Useless trinket. Okay, we are gaining 2 experience points. I take those. And if your aura shield is low, I think it is actually, we are continuing on E274, but the 2 experience points, I think they're not too bad. I will use those 2 for individual experience points, and if I'm running out, then we say blue 5ers. Doesn't really matter too much. Right now we have 2 experience points, and again, and our goal is 15 in order to level up, which is always great. Okay, our problem now is we are being pursued by an elite group of infernal riders. I really didn't think about this. Maybe this was because of our low die roll actually in the end. So I come to believe that maybe you want to roll high on all of these events. I think so, actually. You are being to determine the spirit rider's starting hex. Ah, okay, awesome. So they're not, I don't have to fight them. They're basically an adversary here. So we are rolling a d4. The spirit riders remain in play for the rest of the game. The spirit riders move towards you 1 hex before you choose any action every turn for the rest of the game. If at any point the spirit riders share a hex with you before you choose an action, you lose the game. Okay, so okay, it does. Oh boy, okay. So we have a target on our bed. Only 1 spirit riders can be on the map at a time. So if you encounter this event again, they move 2 hexes closer this turn. Interesting. So let's see where they start. I already love this. And again, there is so much to explore with so little rules overhead. It's so unbelievably fun, actually. So let's see. We are rolling a d4, right? Yeah. That's a 1. So they're starting on 0, 0, basically at the top left of the map. And after a long deliberation, I decided to go with another, let's call it miniature from Tiny Epic Dungeons right here. Exactly. So the wooden pieces here, because I do have, of course, skeletons, but they're all too big. So I'm using those. And this is also easier to distinguish because it's a wooden creature against our plastic creature or miniature. So I think this definitely does work for us. And again, if they ever share a hex with us and they move before us, we will lose. Could imagine there is stuff that teleports us around and all crazy stuff. Let's see how things go from here. But ultimately, this was our first day of the game. Okay, we still want to get down to the city here. Again, with 3 gold coins. I'm not sure if there's anything particularly nice to be done, but I still want to find things out. So we're simply moving. Oh, first of all, they are moving, right? That's the first thing. They're moving 1 space closer to us. I believe right now it doesn't really matter which direction they take. We are moving 1 space down here. And then, yeah, we are rolling on the event table again. We are still on the lowest one. I think I'm playing this correctly. And 98. And right now I can only assume that rolling high is better. I mean, here is a nice little asterisk. So if you're rolling a 99 to 100, we would gain 1 hero point. So I think rolling high must be good in this case, right? And more ruins, it seems. You see large stone ruins in the distance. You can approach the ruins or ignore them. Again, we are the wisdom kind of character. We want to find things out, right? That's the idea. I think someone in their normal state of mind wouldn't go in there. We would still have to reroll on the event table. But I can only assume because we rolled high, this has to be something good, right? So yeah, we are approaching the ruins. E213. And yeah, more die rolls here. You explore some large stone ruins. Interesting. So we are rolling a D10. And we are gaining, okay, first of all, we are gaining D4 experience points. That is huge. Let's roll. It's 3 experience points. So we're exchanging our both 2 with a blue. So this is 5 experience points. Very, very nice. And then we are rolling a D10. Oh, let's see. Okay, that's already a good thing. And again, we are rolling the 1. Are you kidding me? And I believe, is 252 not the same one we had before? Exactly, it's the shrine. You come upon a shrine and now we are rolling a D6. But again, something entirely different could come out and let's see. Let's simply roll that sucker, and it's a 2. 2 is something different here. It is a cruel dedication to a cruel demon. Roll a d6. Oh, basically the same thing as the other one. Still a different narrative, which I kind of like, but the outcome is basically the same. Not entirely, no. We could have lost some hero point, actually. Again, we can use hero points to reroll, I believe. Can we roll any die? Or only... I have to check that actually. But actually, no, I believe only during a skill check or during combat I can use those hero points, or for certain class abilities. That's that. Okay, that's a 5, which I believe in this case means, yeah, it's basically nothing, but kind of we dodged the bullet. Again, if we would have rolled those Spirit Riders again, they would have moved 2 spaces closer to us. Right now, they're still far enough away from us, so maybe too soon to worry. And right now, it's more of a feeling, more of a rumor. But I think that's basically the end of our day. But okay then, they will move 1 step further down. Again, that doesn't matter where they're moving. We are moving 1 step further down. We want to get to this city here. Let's roll for the event, and that's 005 basically. This can't be good, right? So E085. Ooh, you see a stronghold in the distance. Interesting. You can approach the stronghold or move to an adjacent hex. If you approach the stronghold, XP1, or we can move, then yeah, okay. Something could happen. And here I'm not sure again if low results are always bad on these events or not. I still think let's grab this experience point because we're already at 6. And again, 15 is the key. We can level up something very, very nice actually. So I think we will approach, so we will read E019. And this one says, stronghold, you have come upon a large stronghold. If on a mountain hex, okay, where are we? I think we are on a forest hex actually, right? If on a forest or grassland, roll a d4. It's abandoned. Okay, let's do that. Interesting. So even within these results, there is a lot of dependency on where you are, what you roll. Really so nicely done. So much to explore here. I really like that a lot. So let's roll that die. It's a 3, and apparently it's not abandoned. We could have gained another experience here. No, we are going to E203. Nice. Interesting. Okay, though this was a little bit independent on basically the stronghold. So we are simply rolling a D10 here. And it's a 6, which simply says we are continuing to read E243. Ooh, a hooded figure, a dark hooded figure. Attempt an intellect skill test, table C, on this difficulty level, and our intellect gets a -2. And again, the R11111 basically tells us where you can check the rules. And this is really where it's very cool. In theory, you only need to read, I don't know, 2-3 pages of rules, and then you can immediately start playing, because the events really tell you where you would have to read for any particular skill checks and whatnot. Really, really nicely done. But overall, it's only maybe 10 more pages of rules, maybe not even as many as those. So we are doing this test. Our intellect is a 3, so we still get at least a +1, because again, we get a -2 on this identifier. But this is, I think, a relatively tough difficulty already. Yeah, indeed, it's the second difficult one. So only 3 here where we could pass. Again, we still get a +1 on our die here, on our 10-sided die, and it's a 9. That is amazing. A 9 + 1 is 10. 10 plus is pass. That is so cool. But next we have to roll a D6 now here, because we have passed. So maybe something good. Pretty sure down here we would have had to fight. Okay, a 5. A 5 can't be bad, right? It's an elderly man who tells you a tale. So we continue to read on. Wow, this is so cool what we are experiencing here. So E138. Ooh, he's telling us a rumor, basically. So we're rolling a 10-sided dice. You really roll an awful lot of dice. Sometimes you feel you're being pulled left and right. But yeah, really, it's simply this kind of experience. It's a great narrative, and someone with better storytelling capabilities than I would be able to really tell you an amazing story around all of these things. And maybe at some point in time I may want to misuse the Gen AI tools around me to do that. But let's see. Okay, that's a 6 actually. Maybe that's not too bad. You learn about a city. Roll a d6 to determine the direction of the city. Then roll 2d6 plus 2 to determine how many hexes away. Place a city in that hex. The city remains there for the rest of the game. Okay, that is actually quite nice. Cool, let's do that. So first of all, we are rolling a d6 to determine where it is. It's basically northwest of us. So basically, yeah, in the direction we don't want to go. And then we are rolling a d6 plus 2. So it's at least some spaces away. 5 spaces away. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think here is a city hex basically, which we can visit, but I'm not sure if I want to visit actually. But okay, it's something that we can explore. And this is how the world really changes each time you play the game. So the next time you could stumble upon this encounter down here, for example, and maybe you're rolling it here, for example, right next to the city. We have a smaller city or so. So all is possible in this game. But I believe that's already the end of our day. Maybe let's do 1 or maybe 2 more days. Depends now a little bit if we want to make it to the city in this video or not. First of all, these guys will simply move 1 space further down. We will move 1 space further down. I think right now we don't want to get, I don't think we ever want to get there actually, because, I mean, yeah, they're far away. There are events that could make them move faster, I believe. I'm relatively certain about that. Anyway, let's roll for the event. And that is, 04, which is 58. Didn't we have the exact same one just now, or was it 85? No, I think it was 85 just now, right? We encounter a stranger. Okay, we are rolling a d6, and that's a 5. 5 can't be bad, right? So we are reading E179. Let's do that. And here we are meeting a cleric. Again, we are doing an intellect skill test. Oh, intelligence -3, but it's an easier one, but our intellect is basically a 0. And yes, you can go to the minuses here. So if our intellect would have only be a 1, for example, we would not go into this test with a -2. But okay, let's see. It's a tad easier because again we are rolling on this, but then again we don't get any bonuses, but also don't suffer from any penalties. And that's a 2, and a 2 is a fail. But because we rolled this, immediately gain 2 experience points. Okay, I certainly take those. We are already at 8, but a fail can't be good, right? And indeed, they attack. Okay, basically air 110. We have an initiative rule of table C. It's a relatively tough one, a -2. So we determine who is getting the initiative, and getting the initiative is always good in this game. So we want to pass that task because then we can hit hard. So what do they do actually? So physicality of 2, intellect of 3. They're human, so we can use our special ability actually. But they have a relatively high intellect. Not sure if I want to use my thing on them, but they're also hitting with a warhammer. Oof. Tough. Okay, what does this mean? Unholy protection. I have a special. Whenever the cleric takes any wound level, roll a d4. And on a 1, the cleric takes no wound level if you win the combat or a shield down 1. And again, I think down means really to the left. At least I hope. Now it's time to have a look at our special ability, the Psychic Crush. Whenever you face an opponent in combat that is classified as a humanoid, yes, the cleric is clearly a humanoid, you may use the Psychic Crush for your attack. When attacking with the Psychic Crush, choose one opponent. If there are multiple opponents, then roll a d4 if you roll over the opponent's intellect score. So I would need to roll a 4 on a 4-sided die. They are immediately killed. That's the one thing. They're really immediately dead. But if they would have been on a 2, I may have tried that once or twice. But I think with their 3, that is too tough. Okay, but let's roll for the initiative first. We are rolling against this column here, but we are gaining a +1 because our intellect is a 3. And that's a 10. 10, I think, is pretty okay. Then 0 is 10. 0 is not 0 here. So 10 is clearly passed. So we go first. Nice. We are only hitting with a staff, a very, very light weapon. So it's really tough for us to damage the other creatures here. But that's why we have the Psychic Crush. But for our first enemy here, not sure if that was great. Maybe if we now, whatever, take a serious beating, we might need to change our strategy here and really go for the Psychic Crush. Cool thing is the Psychic Crush doesn't cost us any hero points whatsoever. So now we compare our physicality, which always starts at a 4, against the physicality of our opponent, which is currently a 2. So we get a bonus of a 2. That's already a good thing actually. But again, we are rolling on the worst table here. So let's see. 2 plus 2 is 4, which would be a miss. So I think I am going to spend one of our precious hero points to reroll that die here and hope for something better. That's a 9. A 9 plus 2 is a mid wound. That is cool. The problem is, what was this ability called? I don't know. We have to roll a d4, and if they're rolling a 1, they are not taking any wounds whatsoever. And that's a 3. For a split second, I saw the 1 here, but this was okay. They are taking a mid wound, so they're moving down 2 wound levels here. And if they would now take a mid wound again, it would be another 2. So these are basically cumulative, these wounds. If they now would take a light wound, they would only take 1. I mean, you get the idea. The good thing is they are down to 1 physicality right now. So basically we are removing 1. I think we can't go beyond a 0 actually in this case, but they are now attacking us, but with a -1, or with a -3 actually, because our physicality is still a 4. Not too bad. So I think this reroll was definitely worth it. The one problem is they are hitting with a hammer or something like that. So they're rolling on this table here. But again, with a -3. 3 minus 3 is 0 actually, which is cool, which is a miss with basically an asterisk. Countered. Attacker immediately takes a light wound. That is so amazing. Awesome. So they're going to the heavy wound here already, which means their physicality is basically a 0 now. We need 2 more wound levels to take them out. It's our attack again and again. Now we are on a +4 actually, even though we are only hitting with a measly staff. Nice. Okay, 7. 7 must be good, right? 7 is a light wound. Awesome. But but again, we have to roll the d4 here, unfortunately. It's a 2. They take that wound. So they're going down here to a debilitating wound, I believe is this level called. So we need one more light wound to take him out. But now he's attacking us still with a -4. Again, they can't go below 0, actually, unfortunately. So with a -4, they can still do an awful lot of damage, actually. 5 -4. Okay, that's I think that means 1 or less, right? I think this means 1 or less. So they rolled a 4. It has to be smaller than or 1. I think that's a little bit, I don't know. For me, it's confusing, but it's still a miss. Countered attacker immediately takes a light wound. So they are dead, or the druid is dead, and we have didn't take a single wound. We lost 1 hero point, but I think it was definitely worth it. Nicely done, Dorax. Good thing is we get 5 experience points, so blue crystal right off the bat. So we had 13 experience points, 2 more, and we can level up. That is insane. And we could have died basically on day 1, right? You remember that event. And on top of this, we are rolling on this column on table D. I think he doesn't really care an awful lot of money with them, but we might still get something out of this. So we're rolling against this column here, but with a d20 actually, right? Yeah, that's the case. And we are rolling, oh, it's a 5, right? A 5 can't be good. A 5, 0 gold points. Are you kidding me? Okay, but okay, that's not too bad. We are gaining our hero point back. I would have loved some money, of course. But yeah, he doesn't care any money, but we get our hero point back. Nice, and the maximum we can have is 3. But okay, with our next day, we would be moving into the city. And the question is, should I still do this video or not? Just to show you as much as possible, or should I rather go for a cliffhanger? And I think that's what I'm going to do. Sorry, folks. So yes, I will continue the series in my next video. I really hope you stay tuned. So far, we really haven't achieved an awful lot. I mean, ultimately, we have gained 1 gold coin, so 2 gold coins were our starting money, but we really gained an awful lot of experience points, and we didn't lose any hero points, and we haven't taken any real wound. That would be the main part, really getting rid of those wounds. That's the more critical piece. And honestly, right now I didn't really find ways how to, not sure if you can actually heal or so, but actually I don't really think so. You have to go through these events, you have to go through into these cities and points of interest, and maybe finding items in order for you to heal. I think so, at least. Maybe some of the class abilities can do that, but so far I really don't know. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed it so far. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I should be doing, and I will consider that. But so far I'm really having a blast here playing these kind of games with such a little rules overhead. You can really focus completely on the story, on the exploration. I really enjoy this a big deal. And the combat mechanic, as simple as it is, it really works. It's really a lot of fun. I like this one a lot here. But that's the same with the Drifter originally, which I really also very much enjoyed. And yeah, before I forget, a huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members. You guys are truly amazing. Can't tell you how much I really do appreciate all your support. So if you want to support my little channel here, go to Patreon. You will find a link somewhere in the video or in the description below. Join me here directly on YouTube, my community basically. There is a thanks button below the video. Also like and subscribe, leave a comment. This also greatly helps the channel and is very highly appreciated. And with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos, and until then, bye bye.